The words landed like a physical blow, a chilling pronouncement that echoed through the hushed courtroom. He placed the man on his knees and ordered a fellow soldier to shoot him. Imagine for a moment being in that courtroom, the weight of those allegations pressing down. It wasn't just a legal statement, it was a crack in the foundations of what many Australians believed about their heroes, about the honour of service. This wasn't a dispute over a dodgy car repair or an unfair dismissal from a job in a suburban factory. This was about the gravest accusations imaginable: war crimes, murder, and the shattering of trust in the highest echelons of our military. It was a moment when the truth, painstakingly pieced together through years of investigation, began to emerge from the shadows, dragging with it a national hero into the spotlight of a legal and moral reckoning that would shake the country to its core. This wasn't just a news story, it was a saga that would redefine how we understood bravery, justice, and the brutal realities of war playing out in the very real, very Australian legal system. Ben Roberts-Smith was for many years the quintessential Australian hero, a Victoria Cross recipient. His image adorned newspapers and television screens. He was a symbol of courage, resilience, and the unwavering spirit of the Australian Defence Force. Born and raised in Perth, Western Australia, Roberts-Smith embodied the Anzac legend, a figure celebrated for his actions on the battlefield in Afghanistan. His life before these allegations was one of public acclaim, a testament to his service and sacrifice. He was the kind of man you'd see at sporting events, at Remembrance Day ceremonies, universally recognized and respected. He was married, a father, and after leaving the military moved into the corporate world, seemingly transitioning seamlessly from soldier to civilian leader. His home, likely in one of Perth's leafier suburbs, would have been a place of quiet dignity, far removed from the dust and chaos of the battlefields where he earned his medals. The narrative was clear: a celebrated war hero, a man who had put his life on the line for his country. But behind this gleaming facade, a darker, more complex story was brewing, a narrative whispered in hushed tones by those who served alongside him. A story that would eventually spill into the harsh light of a New South Wales local court. These were not the stories of courage and honour that had built his public image, these were tales of a different kind. Of actions that would challenge every Australian's understanding of what it meant to serve. The incident at the heart of these harrowing claims involves specific, chilling allegations of murder committed during his tours of duty in Afghanistan. Court documents tendered to the New South Wales local court paint a grim picture, detailing multiple instances where Roberts-Smith allegedly ordered or was complicit in the execution of unarmed civilians. One particular account alleges that he placed a man who was already on his knees and then commanded a fellow soldier to shoot him. This was not an isolated event, according to the prosecution's statement of facts. It's claimed that each victim was unarmed, detained, questioned, and ultimately executed in situations where there was no active engagement with enemy forces. The Australian Defence Force, it's argued, had effective control of the battlespace at the time. Further, the allegations suggest a deliberate attempt to conceal these actions, with evidence allegedly planted or falsely associated with the deceased to make it appear as though the killings were within the lawful rules of engagement. Imagine the psychological toll on soldiers who witnessed such events, the moral injury that would fester over years, compelling them to eventually speak out. This wasn't a split-second decision in the heat of combat, these were, as alleged, calculated acts committed against individuals who posed no immediate threat. The scale of these claims, encompassing 5 separate charges of murder, speaks to a pattern of behavior that, if proven, represents a profound betrayal of the rules of engagement and the very principles of human decency that Australia purports to uphold. The details of precise dates, locations, the specific individuals allegedly involved, turning abstract accusations into concrete horrifying events. The legal action that followed was not a swift, simple process. It was a long, arduous journey through the Australian legal system, a testament to the complexity and gravity of war crime allegations. While the specific details of the military justice system can be opaque, these charges were laid under Australian law, meaning they would be heard in Australian courts. The initial stages involved extensive investigations by military police and federal authorities, meticulously gathering evidence, interviewing witnesses, many of whom were Robert Smith's former comrades. These soldiers, grappling with the weight of their own consciences, provided statements alleging his direct involvement or complicity. The case eventually landed in the New South Wales local court, where a statement of facts outlining the prosecution's case was formally tendered. This is a crucial early step in the criminal justice process, where the prosecution lays out the core allegations they intend to prove. The arguments made were not just about the act of killing, but about the circumstances surrounding them: the victim's unarmed status, the lack of active engagement, the alleged planting of evidence. Defense arguments, though not fully detailed in these early stages, would undoubtedly focus on challenging the credibility of witnesses, questioning the interpretation of events in high-stress environments, and asserting the legality of actions taken in what they might argue were legitimate combat situations. The stakes were immense, not just for Robert Smith and his family, but for the Australian Defence Force and the nation's reputation on the global stage. This was about more than just one man. It was about the integrity of our armed forces and Australia's commitment to international law. The resolution of these war crime allegations is far from complete. The process is lengthy, complex, and deeply scrutinized. As of the current stage, Ben Robert Smith faces 5 charges of the war crime of murder, with the case moving through the New South Wales local court. This is not a final verdict, but a significant step in a criminal prosecution. Should the case proceed to a higher court, the battle would intensify, with extensive evidence presented, cross-examinations, and a jury or judge alone ultimately deciding his fate. The potential outcomes: a stark conviction could lead to lengthy imprisonment, a complete dismantling of his public image, and a profound reassessment of his military record. Acquittal, while providing personal vindication, would leave many questions unanswered, particularly for those who have come forward with their allegations. Regardless of the criminal outcome, the very public nature of these proceedings has already had a profound impact. It has forced a national conversation about accountability, the ethics of warfare, and the psychological toll of combat on soldiers. There's no easy win in a case like this. Even if Robert Smith is acquitted, the shadow of these accusations will linger. If he is convicted, it will be a deeply painful reckoning for a nation that once celebrated him. Justice in this context is not a simple equation of right and wrong, but a complex, often brutal untangling of truth from conflicting narratives, all under the intense scrutiny of the Australian legal system. This ongoing case, with its harrowing allegations against a decorated soldier, carries immense weight for every Australian. It serves as a stark reminder that even in the most revered institutions, accountability is paramount. For everyday Australians, this isn't just a distant legal drama, it touches upon our values, our sense of a fair go, and our expectations of those who represent us. It highlights the critical role of institutions like the courts and the justice system in holding individuals no matter how prominent to account. While this particular case involves serious criminal charges, the underlying principle of accountability is one that underpins many aspects of Australian law. For instance, if you believe you have been wronged by an institution, whether it's a government department or a large corporation, there are avenues for redress. Consider the Ombudsman, a federal or state body designed to investigate complaints about